Hi there, I'm Timothy Linsdau. I'm a video producer and a Christian. Today I'm putting on my science hat and talking about the impressive gut system that the ultimate designer has created. This is a fascinating subject, the human gut, and what goes on there. If things aren't working right, the rest of you aren't working right. So it's very important to pay a lot of attention to it. Now, within the last 20 years or so, dozens of papers have been written regarding the human microbiome. Microbiota inhabit a variety of niches in the human body, with the gut being the primary location. Now, remarkably, the human gut has the highest known cell densities of any microbial habitat on Earth. Wow. The number of microbiome cells number into the trillions for each single person. Wow. Our relationships with our microbiome has been quite intimate. From our creation, because the microbiota accomplishes vital tasks for us. For example, we have been designed with the bidirectional microbiome gut-brain axis. This includes communication channels between our central nervous system and gut flora, the GI tract, and the countless signaling events that take place between them. Researcher Dr. Mayer says the discovery of the size and complexity of the human microbiome has resulted in an ongoing reevaluation of many concepts in health and disease, including affecting the CNS, or the central nervous system. You know, this is a fascinating article from Institution of Creation Research. You really ought to check them out. They pull up some fascinating stuff. But this special interface, scientists have begun to recognize the value of it. I had a little bit of communication with my primary doctor about the gut. And I said, you don't seem to talk much about it when your doctor's seeing you, at least mine, and others I know. And they said, yes, they don't probably study it as much as they should when they're in school, as much as they do emergency medicine. And that everything connected to the gut is where your health is at. It has been found that endocrine and other signals produced by the gut microbiota can affect the brain. And the brain can, in turn, impact microbial function and composition by way of the endocrine secretions. Now, these bidirectional communication channels must have an innate interface system that fully controls the harmony between us humans and the microbes we host. This is called a microbe interface system. I guess that would be obvious. Scientists recently discovered that gut molecules control brain inflammation via long-distance regulation of immune cells in the brain. Tryptophan is an amino acid our bodies use to make proteins. Gut bacteria process a component of tryptophan that in turn passes into the central nervous system. Now, these they're called metabolites, attached to a specific receptor called an AHR in the brain. AHR is a transcription factor, also called sequence-specific DNA binding factor. A lot of big words. Expressed in special cells called astrocytes and microglia. Basically, AHR binds to the DNA genes and encodes a protein. It provides the responsiveness of astrocytes to inflammation of the central nervous system. Perhaps the pathway might repair or support the repair of injured neural cells. That could be kind of handy. I'm a Parkinson's sufferer. If they could find something that would repair that, that would be pretty cool. Now, this symbiotic cooperation is hardly warlike paradigm of microbiome relations described by evolutionists and even some creationists. Research at ICR views the trillions of microbes in our microbiome as creatures designed by God to work in harmonious relationships with other organisms and body systems. Well, there you are. We're going back to the argument about where life began and what it's really all about. A little bit more on this. There's actually a molecular language of our gut bacteria. There's research being done. Every person is an important ecosystem for a wide variety of microorganisms, which much of it is in our gut. And it's really important. The bacteria in the gut do far more than help digest food in the stomachs of their hosts. They can also tell the genes in their mammalian hosts what to do. Now think about that. Communication from bacteria. I think that's amazing. Now, this is yet another fascinating discovery of microbiome function. Researcher Jonathan Stamler, MD, has uncovered a form of interspecies communication regarding the microbiome. Nitric oxide, an important signaling molecule to many physiological processes, is secreted by bacteria. Now, that allows them to communicate with and control their host DNA. Think about that. These bacteria are not only communicating, but controlling. Now that's kind of wild. Now, we can be happy these are good bacteria. Although not mentioned in this article, this chemical communication channel is monitored by the microbe interface, the human immune system. Now this interspecies communication, boy, that sounds like something from Star Trek. Investigation points to the importance of the microbiome and the designed microbe interface system created to be a bridge of communication between it and the host. Seeing how complicated this is, how could anyone view this as an accident? I mean, how would it function to even get to the point of functioning? Using logic rather than philosophy, Stamler and his team predicted that there would be a common language utilized by bacteria comprising the microbiome. Furthermore, this common language be a form of communication researchers could identify. They found it to be this free radical nitric oxide, a wide-ranging mechanism by which gut bacteria can communicate with human and mammalian hosts. It does sound like something from Star Trek. Anyway, wow. What they call, to go on here, specifically nitric oxide was found to attach to thousands of human proteins in carefully regulated manner of cellular signaling called S-nitrosylation. This occurs by a chemical attachment of nitric oxide to the amino acid cysteine. S-nitrosylation is found in everything from plants and bacteria to all mammalian cells. In this study, they used the gut bacteria that secreted the nitric oxide to see how they did this in a worm, in a tiny nematode, to see how the worm would completely change its ability to regulate its own gene expression. The scientists then choose a protein called argonate that turns off unnecessary genes when nitric oxide attaches to it, including important developmental genes. So in other words, too much nitric oxide impairs healthy development. The researchers determine mammalian hosts in the wild can adjust to accommodate changing nitric oxide levels so this doesn't happen. So here we go. Nitric oxide signaling is one more fascinating discovery regarding our designed microbe interface system and the microbiome. Evolution has nothing to do with this critical symbiotic relationship. It appears nitric oxide signaling was clearly designed. What a claim, especially in today's academic world of evolution, of the evolution inquisition. And as I've said before, challenge these guys at ICR, Institution of Creation Research, and any question you have, see what they say. It could be that you would develop a closer understanding of the science that's being used. Much of evolution, in my experience, is that it's philosophy, because you've never seen it done, you've never seen transitional fossils, and you never will. So there you are. So it's a fascinating subject of the gut that we're further discussing. And we always need to be working on the health of our gut. That's very important. Eat well, exercise, all of those things. Talk to your doctor or a good nutritionist. That could be of help. So I'll tell you what. Have a good day. Eat well. Sleep well. Thank you. I'm Timothy Linsdau. Like and comment on my video. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.